Hey everybody, you're coming to the Newsarama.com Skybox at New York Comic Con. I'm Alex Albin.
I'm Pete LePage.
I'm Justin Tyler, and we're here with Gabriel Rodriguez.
Yeah!
It's great the way you did that.
Thanks, guys.
First off, let me just say, you, sir, are a delight. Also, you do a great book called Locke Key. We've been a huge fan of this book. Forever.
Thanks.
It will never end, correct?
No. It will end. And as I was commenting previously to Pete, I think that's one of the charms of this project. It's a story that will end, that we know how it will end, and we're preparing the grounds for that in a way to have announced this story as a project that will end after 36 issues. It was part of the preparing the readers to stay tuned with us in the mood of now that it's coming the second half of the story, now that the questions are going to find their answers. So get ready, because it's going to be funnier in this latter part of the
Really? Wow.
It will.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's talk about the last issue that came out, which was a Calvin and Hobbes tribute. So how did that come about?
Well, Joe told me that story practically wrote itself. He had this idea of making something with this Bill Waterstone style, because he's a huge fan of Calvin and Hobbes. And he found out this particular episode of the story in which making this trick with the storytelling and the change of a graphic style would help to tell the story properly. And I think that's one of the things that has been so cool of working in Locke Key. Joe is so aware of what he's able to tell in the comic format. And also I've been developing the tools to tell them properly. So it's great to have this especially in Keys to the Kingdom, these one-shot stories in which we will be able to experiment a bit with the format of the comic book storytelling, but always in the service of what's going on in the story. And I think that is, in a way, give them a unique strength to these special issues in this part of Keys to the Kingdom. The first 4 chapters are going to be one-shot stories, and then we will have a 2-part story to wrap up this 4th chapter of the saga.
We were talking earlier about like how it's amazing how in the comic it's funny, there's a lot of heart in it, and it's also you're scared out of your mind.
Yeah.
There's horror, there's humor, and
there's this incredible mix of things in this story. For me, for example, Crown of Shadows, the 3rd volume that just came out, it was especially fun because we have this first 2 stories in which has this magic one episode first heavily focused on Sam Lesser and Dutch with the ghost fight, and then we have this sort of Goonies tale with the kids in the cave, and then we get this big action adventure sequence of the next 3 chapters with the Shadows army battling, which was really fun and amazing to do. And then we have this very self-contained, horribly dramatic story about the mother of the kids. That's one of the most dramatic episodes so far in the story. That was even hard to draw at certain points.
It was hard to read.
Yes.
It was like, man.
This is getting worse and worse and worse, and there's still pages.
Oh, man.
Now, for you, when you're approaching something like that, or maybe when you're approaching something that is scary, do you're inking it or you're penciling it and you're like, okay, I'm done. Ah!
No, I have to admit that in the process of drawing itself, in a way, you don't realize that until you see the set of sequences with the pages one after the other. For me, when I worked in Welcome to Lovecraft in the first arc, and there's this scene in which Bodhi is sitting in the window of the well house, and he's answering Kinsey, who's calling him from far away. And then the shot moves to a big panel in which we see Bodhi looking behind and Dutch coming out of the well. This was the first time when I saw one of my drawings and said, wow, this worked in the way it has to. There's creepiness here, but it's not about the drawing itself. It's about the situation with the characters. And that was very important for me. In a way, these characters became real for us in the way you perceive it, and it was fun. Some months ago, I received an email from a reader that told me, "Man, I wish I could be a friend with Dina Locke to talk to her about her problems." And then I remember she wasn't real; she's a character in a comic book, and that's the best compliment you could receive about a story that you're making.